Hi there, welcome to the Grandpa Deckard Show. Today we are going to be showing you how to do a beetle omelet. Yes, you heard me right, beetle omelet. And before you run out there and grab a bunch of bugs to sprinkle on your finished product, hear me out and hear the rest of the story, okay? So now in the first installment of this omelet series, that's what I'm going to call this. In the first installment, Big John, our little sailor friend, is enjoying a day of sailing his boat until he is viciously attacked by a banana shark. The boat was wrecked and he was injured. Thankfully, he was rescued. That's season 1 and episode 1. In the second part of the story, season 1, episode 3, it tells of how Big John's grandson, Little Joe, is sailing his boat that was built from the wreckage of his grandpa's boat. Some bad boys started making fun of his omelet boat, and he becomes discouraged and eats his boat. And now our omelet series continues with a beetle omelet. The aforementioned grandpa and grandson live in Rhode Island, on an island with lots of roads. And, oh, by the way, they live on the biggest island of several, and the name of that island is Aquidneck. Officially, though, the island's name is Rhode Island. And that's what the entire state is named after, that big island. So, all right, anyway, that's where they live. And Little Joe and his grandpa are good friends and spend a lot of time together. Joe just turned 15, but is small, very small for his age, as you can see in this picture. In just a moment, I'm going to find that picture. Oh, yes, here's that picture. And they are rather small, aren't they? And yes, that is my notebook binder behind them. And so Big John was a little embarrassed with this picture because he was having a bad case of hat hair. And but there it is. Anyway, it gives you an idea of how small they are, and especially how little Joe is, just a extra small guy. For 15, pretty short. Little Joe earns money delivering the Sailorsville Journal. Don't look this up on the map, okay, because they live in an alternate reality, so you won't find it. And he delivers the Sailorsville Journal, and he mows lawns. One day, while out riding his bike, Joe saw a small car for sale. It was love at first sight. I remember my first car. Same thing, love at first sight. Well, it was an old Volkswagen Beetle. He knocked on the door, and before long, he was the proud new owner of his very first car. Since he couldn't drive yet, the man delivered it to his grandpa's house and parked it out back. Big John was upset that his grandson hadn't talked to him about this first, but he quickly warmed up to the idea. He saw it as an opportunity to spend even more time with Little Joe, sorry. Little Joe, working on the car together, and that they did, fixing some mechanical issues and adding things like custom wheels and a surfboard rack. And by the way, here's another picture of the car. Okay, while you're looking at this picture of the Beetle omelet, Little Joe's new car, I want to share a couple of tips with you on the making of one of these for yourself. Now, I made mine in a skillet that would produce a 6 3/4 inch omelet. You can either fold it over or just cut it in half like I did in this case. And you need to add, for the wheels, you need to go around to all the grocery stores in town and find one that's 1 7/8 inches, okay, sausage for your wheels, 1 7/8 inches, and or crackers. Now, I said that he had custom wheels, and let me show you his custom wheels. There's one, you just overlay it over the sausage, and voila, custom wheels. Alrighty, so now you want to use, if you want to add the surfboard rack with the surfboard, use a piece of thick, meaty bacon and bake it in a toaster oven very slowly. And I even laid some oven-proof bowls on top of it while it was cooking, just so it wouldn't get wrinkles in it. You know, the wrinkly surfboard wouldn't do all that well in the waves, I don't think. I'm not a surfer, I admit, but I just wouldn't think so. And so there it is, the Beetle Omelet with custom wheels and a surfboard. Alrighty, now hang on a minute. I'm gonna... Okay, well, let's finish up our story. One day while Grandpa was going to the mainland on business, little Joe decided to drive the car around the neighborhood. It was a small car, but he had to use a booster seat and duct tape some parts from some old wooden crutches to his legs in order to reach the pedals. He had watched his grandpa drive the Beetle and was pretty sure that he could do it too. Unfortunately, a deputy sheriff was driving down his street and saw the car jerking as Joe tried to work the clutch. Then, being distracted by the clutch work, he ran over the neighbor's roses. The deputy put an end to the joyride and took little Joe down to the station. There, Joe read some car magazines while waiting for Grandpa to show up. Well, no jail time, but stern warnings were issued by the officer and by Grandpa on the way home. And then in a softer tone, he told his grandson that in another 6 months, he'd be old enough for a learner's permit, and that Big John would teach him how to drive, and that he'd been thinking about the two of them taking a road trip to a far-off place and taking turns driving along the way. Meanwhile, little Joe was praying for a growth spurt. Thank you for joining us for the Grandpa Deckard Show. Hope to see you again real soon.